learned pretty early that when you go on a trip like this, even if you go alone, you're kind of never alone. And I don't mean that in a religious, biblical sense. You just meet people along the way. So I met Keegan on the internet. He decided he wanted to cross the border with me. It was going to be our first kind of border crossing on the bikes. So we got together, met up with him down in San Diego at his buddy's place. And from there, we started riding together. So I didn't know his riding style. I didn't really know much about him. I didn't like Facebook stalk him or anything. I just decided to go with the flow on this one. So he had his KLR, kind of his first bike, I think. I wasn't sure if he'd be good at riding or, the kind of guy that rips and then, wrecks or what. So I kind of just went with it, man. He was cool. I could tell from the get-go, just a super nice guy. So we rode, got out of San Diego. It was a nice ride, just leaving paradise to go on this adventure. Really set the tone for the adventure. It was nice. The border crossing, super easy going into Mexico. You do have to do a lot of paperwork. But when you get into Tijuana, everybody's so scared about Tijuana. Tijuana, you go around it. I mean, look, there's a fence right there. I don't think that we were anywhere near even people in Tijuana. It's just this highway, and you just rip around the outside of Tijuana, and you keep going and moving. And so, I don't know, Tijuana was kind of an afterthought. Headed to Ensenada. The whole time we were kind of looking for places to pull over and get insurance for Keegan's bike because he hadn't bought it yet. I got mine online beforehand, so if you have questions on insurance, just hit me up. Gas stations there are run by the government, which is kind of a funny thing. Not corrupt at all, I promise. But we just kept going and made our way through these kind of landing strip cities. The whole city is just this straight line. You don't know if people live there or not. Some of them have fabricas, some of them don't, or warehouses and manufacturing plants. But they have schools, maybe a restaurant or two. This is one of the bigger versions of one of these landing strip towns, and you kind of go through them hoping, hey, hopefully this guy's got a gas station in his fabrica or in his landing strip town, and you keep going. These things are repeated all over the country, though, or all over Baja. So these are my first pesos. I've never had pesos before. This is where we pulled for lunch. First lunch together. It was good, though. He ate my fries, but it was good food. The Cactus Hotel, very nice, very awesome, great place for your first night in Mexico. Hi. So, made it to Mexico. Day one. Got here. This is the hotel, the Cactus Hotel. Let me see if I can show you around. So, first time in Mexico, I met a guy named Keegan. We'll see him in a minute. He's from San Francisco, and we're traveling Baja together, so it'll be pretty fun. Anyway, check it out. Pretty sweet. I haven't looked back here to see what's living in the great beyond. No, it's pretty nice, man. $34 a night. It's nice. All right, so there's your update. So, grabbed food at Mama Espinosa's next door. Great food. So stay at the Cactus, go to Mama Espinosa's, get the tacos, or I got the combo. This combo plate was amazing. A little expensive, but this is where the Baja guys all go after the race. Met these guys in the morning on our way out the next day, on our way to Mulegé. Awesome guys. Keegan and I decided it was time to take more pictures too. So we pulled over, started taking some more pictures. You can see it's just nothing out there. As you keep going south, you start going into the national park or the city park or whatever this is. It's protected land. And you see how much beauty there is in Baja. Like, this is what Baja looks like. And we were on the main road. Keegan didn't necessarily have any dirt background, and so we just kept to the roads. But you can see, like, it's awesome down there. Just giant cacti, just as far as you can see, boulders, swooping roads, just hills, and the roads weren't bad. They were a little bit rough, and every now and then you'd see that the roads would kind of wash out and it'd just be dirt and rocks. But in all honesty, it was awesome. And just look at this scenery as we're going along. Just giant cacti, giant boulders. It's all that you see. It's like going through Yellowstone. It feels so different when you're going through here. You also realize that there are some giant cacti that are the size of houses. So we hugged them. The Gumby cacti, the house cacti. There's so many cacti. And then we pulled over for Mariscos Palina restaurant, which was also amazing. So, have you ever been in a seashell, sand floor, Mariscos restaurante? Because I sure haven't, but I am now. Check it out. Bikes outside. So the food there, delicious. I will tell you, the food was delicious. Okay, so I never would have expected it, but that seafood was amazing. So I would highly, highly recommend it. So at this point I saw the Sea of Cortez as we were going down to Santa Rosa, and so I pulled over and let Keegan get a little bit ahead of me. Wanted to get the GoPro running so that we could kind of pull in and see the sea as we were riding through. So you'll see I get pretty close to the center line or over it and stuff on a lot of this. It's because I'm trying to kind of spot the corners and see what trucks are going to be in them, if people are crossing the apex, just what traffic's like. You also see like this guy's got his hazards on. In Mexico, you have really courteous truck drivers. They put those hazards on so you know if it's safe or not. And so he's saying, hey, there's a car coming, don't pass me. At least that was kind of the rhythm I got watching it. So here I am coming down this hill. Yes, this is sped up. I think it's at 2 times or 4 times pace. You don't want to rip around these streets with all the sand and rocks and stuff all over the road. And I'm just catching up to Keegan down here. So follow this for a few more bends, and it eventually drops you right down to the ocean front. So really nice hills, clean, not a lot of people there, and it takes you in. You're going east at that point and hitting the Sea of Cortez. So right here, this is normal speed, so I bet that feels slow after everything else you've been watching. Just pulling over, Keegan's catching up, and yeah, checking out the sea here for a minute and kind of making some plans on where we're going and what we're going to do. We had thought about staying in Santa Rosa, but Mulahe was supposed to be a really nice little town, so we kept riding after that. But you'll see Santa Rosa is a really nice place too. This part of the ride is just great. You know, you've got these nice hills on one side and the sea on the other. There's no traffic. It's not like riding through the states, you know. Think about a stretch of road like this on like the 101 or, you know, up through Portland or Seaside, Oregon, or down through Santa Monica. It's like just traffic. And here it's like you're the only people on the road. It's super nice. Who cares if the road conditions aren't perfect? You're on ADV bikes, so you bounce a little bit. I mean, I was lucky I wasn't in the dirt, I guess. I mean, I wanted to be in the dirt, but it wasn't so bad riding on these roads. And there were stretches of the road that definitely felt like I was dirt biking too, which is crazy when you see how many just normal cars go through here. Sleepy towns that we're in. There's definitely people are doing daily work in their daily lives. People are working, everybody's got their job. It's not like the movies, guys with like sombreros sleeping leaned up against their house or whatever. No, everybody's working. People are super friendly. Everybody wants to know what you're doing, but for the good reasons, right? They're not out spying on you or anything. And you can tell there's just a lot of work going on down there. Trucks are always moving, people are moving, and they're friendly about it. You'll see that the screen goes black a couple of times in here, like just a second ago. That's me just cleaning the GoPro lens, because you get so much dust and bugs and stuff that you just don't know. I actually threw out a lot of the footage of the trip just because the screen was dirty and you couldn't really see that well, and it just killed the shots. And I'm not the best to maybe listen to. I know I don't sound that great, and my videos maybe aren't the most exciting, but believe me, this is better than looking at washed out screen and the way that affects the light and everything else. So this is just cooking through the little town on our way into Mulahe. Traffic there's no rhyme or reason to what people will do, how they drive, how they interact with you, what speeds they go. There are speed limits. Nothing is enforced that I could see. I never saw anybody in Baja doing any kind of speed checks or anything. You just kind of take it at your pace, but if you're going down there and it's your first time, I'd recommend taking an easy pace, because once again, there are a lot of hazards in the road that can cause you some issues if you go through them at rocket speed. As I was pulling up right here, I just looked out to the left, and they had a nice little sidewalk, and a very great view of the sea. So I thought, it's time to just pull over and enjoy this. So we pulled over, took a break, got some shots, and moved on. I don't know if riding on the sidewalk or not is illegal there, but kind of felt like they'd pick and choose what's illegal anyway, so I needed to get that photo. I took it. After that, Keegan took the lead, and we headed towards Mulahe, which was not really far from here. So enjoy the ride, and you'll see some of the washouts and some of what we went to as we were leaving Santa Rosa. You know what, it might be called Santa Rosalia now that I saw that sign. So you guys can fact check me later. I won't run for office or anything using this information. Here's one of those washouts I was talking about. You see a lot of spots like that, so you can imagine you're doing like 100 miles an hour and then the road looks like that randomly. You're not going to be in a good spot. So, like I said, enjoy the ride, but be safe and be weary of what the road looks like. Yeah, because sometimes there's road and sometimes there's not. And Guatemala is even worse, I promise. And once again, this is just regular speed, so I'm not slowed down or sped up. This is just kind of the speed you take it at. And obviously you can overtake all of the cars in those spots because the cars and trucks go a lot slower through the dirt than your dirt bike should.
Estamos por el Hotel Mulieje, noche 2, bienvenidos. Llegamos hoy, estamos bien, todo salió bien.
So I parked under that tree, and then Keegan told me there were birds, so I decided that it was time to move it. So this is the next day, heading out of Mulegé, beautiful little town. I don't know if they consider it one of the magic pueblos of Mexico, but it definitely has that feel, and kind of everybody knows everybody. And it goes right up to the beach, so if you were to go east from where we're riding, so turn around and do a U-turn, it takes you out to the beach. Nothing too scenic, but it is a nice little beach. I actually met some weird American lady that was living in like a trailer on the beach there. It was kind of weird. She was weird, but she was nice. So after that, we wanted to hit the road, head down towards La Paz. This was our last day together. So we're just riding through, and look at that. Just islands in the sea. I don't know if it gets much better than that. I mean, Mexico has some really great stuff to see, but I love that right there. So we rode down. Keegan decided he wanted to ride on the beach here. Reminded me of Hawaiian beaches where they just like put sand on top of concrete, and people go out there and check it out. But it got soft after a minute. I bet they just got sick of people's cars, sinking in the beach because everybody wanted to drive on it. Or maybe it's really just a rocky beach. I have no idea. I could be wrong. I don't know that much about them. So we got some photos here. Talked. Keegan, if you're watching this, I still want the picture of me riding up and down this beach because that was a good photo. So I'd appreciate it. You know my email and my cell phone. And we headed out. As we kept going, we ran into there's like AutoZone. We needed to stop, and Keegan was looking for some tools or something. I was surprised to find an AutoZone in Baja, Mexico, but it was exactly the same as one in America, so we stopped there. We also stopped to get some drinks and a snack or something before lunch. And so we stopped in at this place and parked our bikes, went over, started having our stuff right here. This is where we parked outside this little bar. And while we're doing it, these like overlanding Americans like pulled up and decided they wanted to, bathe in the ocean right in front of everybody. So everybody got to watch these nasty guys, like guy and his girlfriend out on the beach naked cleaning. So when we got to La Paz, I got some great ceviche, amazing ceviche. Message me, I'll get you the details for where that was. And then it's right around the corner from the hostel here where I dropped Keegan off. So Keegan stayed here. I headed to the boat, got my bike all tied down. This is inside the Baja ferry. Grabbed my free food because you get a free meal. It's pretty lackluster. I do recommend getting a cabin, though. You need to get a cabin. It's worth the money. You want it. I met this guy on the boat, and I actually let him stay in my cabin because he was going to sleep on a couch. So, whatever. I had 2 beds. I was only using one.